I'm Kang Liang. I have been in the tech industry for the past 6 years, I think. And in the past 1 year, I've been working on a startup called Sporty. So we've pivoted quite a number of times from serving from serving consumers to serving SMEs, and now to serving VWOs and non-profits as somewhat a social enterprise. So that is what we are right now at this moment. So what we have been doing, which is consistent throughout the different customers we've been serving, is that we are a marketplace where organizations request for items to be bought by people who can get those items at cheaper rates.
Yeah, that's great. So, I mean, Kang Liang, share a bit more about your tech entrepreneurship journey.
Sure. So I think not a lot of people who know me after maybe 2016 know about this, that I was I was an economics major. So in school I did economics, and I thought I was going to go into public service, right? So because that's where all economists end up, if not in a bank. So but I in my year one of uni I did an internship at Shopback. So I believe most of you guys know about Shopback, and I was actually one of the first interns there. And that's where I got exposed to tech scene, and I realized that one small intern's work can impact the company at such a big scale. And I thought that is the kind of impact I want to create in my career. So that's where my career kind of took a turn, or in startup terms we say took a pivot, right? And I did a few more internships in tech and in startups, and I realized that, hey, this is what I love. So so that's how my whole tech journey started.
Yeah. So, I mean, how has it been like for you? What are some difficulties?
Okay, so as an intern, I think there wasn't a lot of difficulties, right? So you just go to work. Of course, hours are long, but that's what we should do when we're all young, right? Just put in the hours and learn. And as a full timer, maybe the salary is a little bit lower than your friends. That's okay as well, but at least you still get to pay your bills. And the real challenge comes when you actually step out and be an entrepreneur yourself, because that's where all your income stops, right? And that's where you need to, before you raise any investment money, you need to decide whether to draw down on your savings, which I don't have a lot, to be honest, right? Or you need to decide to maybe do some freelance work on the side. So I think that is one key decision that a lot of entrepreneurs make. And a lot of entrepreneurs, some of the more uninspired, I would say, entrepreneurs, right? They don't plan actively ahead enough in terms of such personal monetary concerns. So I think that's one issue. I wouldn't say issue, but that's one challenge that you need to overcome as an entrepreneur, right? Whether you have enough money to pay the bills before you get yourself. And even if you decide that you are going to work on the side and earn some money just to pay the bills, and then work on your startup the rest of the time, do you have a skill set that people would pay for? So what have you been doing in your career in the past 3 to 5 years that the one particular skill set that you can charge $100 or $200 per hour for, right? So you work smart, right? Not work hard. Because if you do freelance work like half the time, then that's as good as working full time already.
Yeah. Okay. So
I think that's one concern. The other one is whether you, as an entrepreneur, whether you hang on to your baby too much or not. So because a lot of times your ideas are a baby, and sometimes even when you join a founder who you believe so much in, you kind of take his idea as your baby as well, right? So when the idea fails, a lot of people, be it founders or team members, they kind of, you must be able to disjoint your emotions from the results that are happening in the real world, because not every solution will be a solution that the market needs. Right. So I think finding out what the market needs, communicating that your solution solves a need, and that need is well researched and well backed by when I say research, not just numbers and figures, but also primary research, right? So if you have well backed figures, well backed research findings, I think, and then you are able to communicate what your solution does, and you're able to implement it, most importantly, right?
Yeah.
I think those are kind of a bit of a playbook that most entrepreneurs or most tech employees can consider.
Mm. I mean, so the difficulty is around the finances and learning when to detach yourself from an idea.
Correct.
Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I would say personally those are my two big. And there's like a list of 100,
Yeah,
200, a
yeah.
few hundred takeaways. But I would say those are the two biggest ones that that
Mhm.
anyone who is trying to jump into entrepreneurship would need to consider.
Yeah, yeah. Sure. So I mean, what has helped you throughout this journey?
Mm, what has helped me? I think as okay, so I think there are two things, right? So
Yeah.
number one, the belief in the idea. Okay, not really the belief in the idea, but the belief in the problem that you're solving. The constant belief that it is a big enough problem and that whatever you do, be it a tech solution or not, would make an impact to the problem, even if it moves the needle just by 1%. So you really have to keep the faith that you are in it to help, however minute your effort might be, right? You need to kind of help to solve a problem, just by contributing that little bit you can. I think this is how we kind of participate in society as well, right? So for example, in terms of, let's say you donate 20 cents into that guy waiting at the MRT station,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
It doesn't help much, but you kind of have the faith in you that 20 cents would go a little bit of a distance, would kind of move the needle by 0.1% more.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I think even if your tech solution doesn't take off, always have faith and always be comforted by the fact that that is your contribution does matter in the bigger
Mm,
picture.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's one thing that keeps me going, right? However small my customer pool may be,
Yeah.
I really want to just create that impact and that value and that change for them and their lives.
Sure.
So I think the other thing that keeps me going would be on a more personal level, right?
Mhm.
Where you kind of know that you want to be so-called successful. A lot of people
Yeah, yeah.
define success in different ways.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I think having your loved ones around you and telling yourself that you want to you want to be successful and create a good life for the people around you, right? So for example, your spouse or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, and you want to get married and settle down and all that, and you need some money for it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
nobody is in entrepreneurship. Nobody in entrepreneurship would say they are totally not in it for the money. That's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
a lie,
Yeah.
right? Because if you're totally not in it for the money, then you won't be a business owner, right?
Uh-huh.
You,
Yeah.
may, you maybe might be a charity owner, but you won't be a business owner. Yeah. So even as a social enterprise, there is that personal motivation to kind of create a big and sustainable company in the
Mm-hmm.
long run, such that
Yeah.
I would say you become filthy rich. I would say you become
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg or
Yeah.
Jack Ma or Elon Musk, but those are definitely
Yeah.
figureheads where you can look towards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. That's great. So I mean, actually, what are some of the myths that people have towards tech entrepreneurship?
Mm, so you're referring to tech or entrepreneurship or both?
Like, yeah, both. I believe.
Okay, yeah. So I think one thing. Okay, so if you're coming from outside the industry and you're joining as an employee, I think one myth that I hear a lot is that people think that it's glamorous and you have ping pong tables at work and
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
you get to wear t-shirts and hoodies for to go to office. But
Yeah.
I think those are just the side perks that shouldn't motivate you, because one day if the company downsizes and all these perks are gone, then you have nothing to keep you going. So I think
Mm-hmm.
believing in the company's mission or the founder's mission is very important. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing people tend to overlook, especially when they're joining from outside the industry, right?
Mm.
I think another is also that they think that uh, tech is, like, I think, following on and extending from the glamour, they think that
Yeah.
you're able to make a lot of money from day one in tech,
Yeah.
right? So people who join as employees think that a Series A firm, for example, which is very early in tech startups or in the whole financing private equity space, Series A is really super early, right? They think that a Series A firm could match their corporate salary, which I think is something that the expectations kind of need to change, right? And if you aren't ready to take a big pay cut, then you go for more mature tech firms like Google or Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's on the personal level, right? And then yeah, so that's for employees joining. And then for people who are taking the jump into entrepreneurship, right? Of course, same thing. They think that, being a business owner or being an entrepreneur might be, what one myth is that, you have a lot of control over your time, you have a lot of control over your life, your whatever. That's true to a certain extent. You get to plan, kind of get to plan your own work and plan your own day and plan your own calendar and whatnot. Right? But that comes with a lot of responsibilities as well, because if your business doesn't take off, or if you kind of plan your day such that you have a 4-hour nap in the middle of the day and you miss three meetings, then that defeats the whole purpose of starting out and being an entrepreneur, right? So yeah, that kind of privilege comes with responsibility, right? And I think you need a lot of discipline, which I am still learning every day, right? To kind of keep your day going and keep your day productive. Yep.
Yeah, sure. So those are very, very good actually for people who are looking to join. I mean, what is your encouragement to people who might want to be an entrepreneur?
I think no goal is the end goal.
Okay.
Yeah. So let me explain. So I have a mentor who is like 15, 20 years older than me, and he very candidly tells me that even at 40 something, 50 years old, he doesn't know what he wants to do, and it's perfectly fine, because so long he knows that there's a general direction that he's going towards, right? That is where he would pull his career towards. And I think that kind of would can trickle down to entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs who are just starting out, because yeah, I think a lot of times people who are just starting out, like maybe me half a year ago, right, would think that oh, if I fail, then that's the end of the world, or I die, I must make this succeed. It's do or die, right? And if I fail, then like I need to, yes, of course I can go back to square one, but people don't give enough thought to if they fail, life goes on. I mean, they don't consciously condition themselves to say it's okay to fail, because or it's okay to 1 year from now say that you are not running that startup anymore because your direction changed. So I think yeah, a lot of entrepreneurs who are just starting out, they think that they would only do that one startup for life. But the truth is, every phase is a transitionary phase. Just that some phases you transition for 20 years, right? And you make that a career, and you get well known in that space, right? But some phases you transition in 2 to 3 years, right? So I think even if you have a transitionary phase of being a founder for just half a year, most importantly is what you learn out of it, and how the takeaways from that journey, and how you apply those lessons to your next phase of life.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Was there anything else you wanted to add before we ended?
Not quite. So yeah, I think following on from the last question that you asked, right? Don't be just don't be afraid to just declare to the world that yes, you are doing this startup, or you are doing this project, and you're going to do it for half a year or 1 year, and if you fail, you just go back to it's just like phases, right? You just go back to work, and then maybe 3 years later you have another idea, then you come out and do that idea again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Thanks so much, Kang Liang. That's really great.